Welcome back to K-pop and Juice, where we spill the gist fresh, hot, juicy, and completely unfiltered. And today's story is not just about fame, awards, or spotlight moments. It's about something deeper, something that quietly stole the attention of fans across the world. Because while everyone expected headlines about trophies and achievements, it was a single heartfelt hug from Hyun that truly captured hearts and left people emotional. In an industry where recognition is often measured in awards, rankings, and public praise, moments of genuine human connection can feel rare. But sometimes, in the middle of all the glamour, something real happens, something unscripted, unplanned, and undeniably powerful. That is exactly what unfolded during a recent public appearance that fans are still talking about. Hyun, known for his composed demeanor and quiet charisma, has always maintained a certain level of emotional restraint in public. He is admired not only for his acting talent, but also for his professionalism and the way he carries himself with dignity. Whether in blockbuster dramas or high-profile events, he rarely allows too much of his private emotions to show. That is why this particular moment stood out so strongly. It happened during an event where he was being recognized for his outstanding contributions to the industry. Cameras were flashing, the atmosphere was celebratory, and everything followed the usual rhythm of such occasions. Names were called, speeches were made, applause filled the room. It was, by all appearances, another successful and polished evening. But then, something shifted. As Hyun stepped forward, holding what many assumed would be the highlight of the night, a well-deserved award, his attention seemed to drift away from the trophy itself. Instead, his focus turned towards someone in the audience. For a brief moment, there was a pause, almost as if time slowed down. And then, without hesitation, he moved. What followed was simple, yet deeply meaningful. He walked directly toward that person and embraced them. It was not a formal handshake or a quick, polite gesture. It was a real hug, warm, intentional, and filled with emotion. The kind of hug that speaks without words, that carries history, gratitude, and something far more personal than anything that could be expressed in a speech. The audience noticed immediately. So did the cameras. And within seconds, that moment began to spread. Fans watching the clip could not help but react. Who was the person he hugged? What did they mean to him? Why did this moment feel so significant? Speculation began almost instantly. Some believed it was a close family member, perhaps someone who had supported him long before he became a global star. Others suggested it might have been a mentor, someone who guided him through the early stages of his career. And of course, many fans could not ignore the possibility that it was connected to Son Ye-jin, his wife, and one of the most beloved figures in Korean entertainment. The connection between Hyun and Son Ye-jin has always been special in the eyes of fans. From their unforgettable chemistry in Crash Landing on You to their real-life relationship, their story has been followed closely by audiences around the world. They are often seen as a symbol of genuine love in an industry that can sometimes feel distant and controlled. So, when this emotional moment unfolded, many viewers immediately wondered if it was somehow linked to that deeply personal part of his life. But what made the hug so powerful was not just who it might have been for. It was the way it happened. There was no performance in it, no attempt to make it dramatic. It felt natural, almost instinctive, as if Hyun was responding to something within himself rather than thinking about the cameras or the audience. That authenticity is what resonated so strongly with fans. In a world where public figures are constantly observed and often expected to maintain a certain image, moments like this remind people that behind the fame, there is still a human being with real emotions, real relationships, and real experiences. As the clip continued to circulate online, fans began sharing their interpretations. Some described it as a moment of gratitude, a way of acknowledging someone who had been a pillar of support. Others saw it as a sign of emotional vulnerability, something that Hyun rarely shows in public. There were also those who connected it to the pressures of his career. Being at the top of the entertainment industry comes with immense expectations. Every project, every appearance, every decision is scrutinized. Maintaining that level of excellence over time requires not just talent, but resilience. It is easy to forget that even the most successful individuals need moments of reassurance, connection, and grounding. That hug, in many ways, felt like a release of all those unseen pressures. It was a reminder that success is not just about what is achieved publicly, but also about the relationships and support systems that exist behind the scenes. It highlighted the idea that no matter how high someone rises, they are still shaped by the people who stand beside them. Fans also began revisiting past moments involving Hyun, looking for clues about the depth of his emotional world. Interviews, behind the scenes footage, and interactions with colleagues were analyzed with new attention, and what many found was a pattern of quiet sincerity. He may not always express himself openly, but when he does, it carries weight. That is why this single moment, a hug lasting only a few seconds, had such a lasting impact. It told a story without needing explanation. It reminded people of the importance of connection in a world that often prioritizes achievement over emotion. It showed that even in the midst of celebration, what truly matters can sometimes be something as simple as reaching out to someone who has been there through it all. As the conversation around the moment continued, it also sparked a broader reflection among fans. What does success really mean? Is it the awards, the recognition, the applause, or is it the ability to share those moments with people who genuinely matter? For many, Hanbin's gesture provided an answer. It suggested that while accolades are important, they are not the most meaningful part of the journey. The most meaningful part lies in the connections that give those achievements context and purpose. And perhaps that is why this moment resonated so deeply. It was not about spectacle, it was about sincerity. Even now, as time passes and new stories emerge, that hug remains a powerful reminder of what can happen when someone allows themselves to be present, to feel, and to express something real in a space that is often defined by performance. Whether or not the full story behind the moment is ever revealed may not even matter. Because in the end, what people connected with was not the identity of the person he embraced, but the emotion behind the gesture. And that emotion was clear. It was gratitude. It was connection. It was love in its simplest, most human form. And once again, Hanbin proved that sometimes the most unforgettable moments are not the ones planned for the stage, but the ones that happen quietly, unexpectedly, and sincerely, reminding everyone watching that even in a world of fame and spotlight, genuine human connection still has the power to shine the brightest. Stay with K-pop and Juice, because you already know we will always bring you the moments that matter, the stories behind the headlines, and all the tea served fresh, hot, juicy, and unfiltered.